Hey there, my name's Felix Ridgeron, otherwise known as Frog, and in this video, I decided to assemble a prospective Academy lineup that I believe can make top 2 in the WePlay Academy League within its first season. I'll present all the players and showcase some examples of why I believe they'd be a good fit for the lineup. A few caveats before we begin. The players need to be between 16 and 20 years old, they can't have regularly competed on a tier 1 team, and the roles need to make sense. So let's talk about the first player on the lineup. Like with any good team, I started with an IGL. In this case, Mad Lions is TMB. I believe that TMB is the most well-rounded up-and-comer in Denmark. He can entry, he can support, he can lurk, he can op, and on top of all of that, he's an IGL. He's basically what you'd get if you fused Kerrigan and Esatag and somehow they were only 20 years old. Oh yeah, and it's also worth mentioning that TMB is the oldest member on the lineup. According to WePlay's rulebook, 4 of the players need to be between the ages of 16 and 20, allowing for 1 veteran, but I played it safe and chose a young IGL as well. I think that TMB has a lot of potential, a very high skill ceiling, can grow a lot as an IGL, and is generally a solid pillar to build the team around. So I wanted to break down a few rounds of his just to showcase why I think he's a good fit. In this round, TMB links up with his teammates towards Monster and nade stacks through the smoke. He then goes back towards Fountain to create some pressure towards A. Then meets up with his team again on B and throws some flashes while they entry. Throws a molly on short and nets himself a nice little 2k. As he's about to plant, he realizes that the heaven smoke is starting to fade. So, he uses this nifty little lineup and banks the smoke off the fence to resmoke heaven. Mad Lions then go on to win the round, but I think that this clip really showcases just how knowledgeable TMB is. In this round, TMB goes Fountain, as Mad Lions aim to take bathroom control. He mollies Divider and takes an early jiggle towards Connector, and then waits for his teammate. Once the duo are united, they make a contact play towards Con, where TMB gets a great opening frag. He then ups the tempo, spams Divider Wall for potential sound cue, and recognizes the one-way smoke towards Jump Up, where he finds his second frag. TMB is very good at making space, and I feel like it'd be best to utilize him in that role, as an entry fragger. We move on to our second player, Romanian prodigy, Longx. I have him down as an entry, and that's sort of what he currently does on Nexus Gaming, but realistically, I wouldn't use him as a dedicated entry as such. To draw a comparison to G2, I'd want Longx to be my Nico, while TMB would be my Jax, the guy going in first doing executes while Longx trades him. At only 16 years old, Longx's level is incredibly impressive, and he really reminds me of Flames from a few years ago. He has incredible aim, great game sense, and I'd want him to be able to make plays without having to be the one always taking 50-50 duels. I wanted to highlight this T-side pistol round from Nexus, as I think it's a great strat. But luckily for them, they were able to get the site entirely for free, and they throw a deep smoke towards CT. This allowed Longx to position himself in this cubby towards backlane, but sadly he's only able to get 1 kill. It was a great strat, but with 1 extra flash time for the end of the smoke, Longx would have been able to get a lot more done. Moving on, we have 17-year-old Ukrainian operator Wrinkle, currently on bait. Since the start of the online era, there's been a trend of incredible CIS operators, and Wrinkle is no exception to that. He's got very clean movement, precise aim, and is quite flexible with his opping style. He can go out and make plays, but he's also very good at just holding the line and repositioning after kills. He's also very apt with the rifles and the pistols. He's a great all-rounder. The Ukrainian talent pool is very deep, but hasn't gotten that much attention yet, so I'd snag Wrinkle while I still have the chance. In this round, bait forced after losing the pistol, and Wrinkle finds himself using the scout. The T's execute onto A, but leave a huge gap in the CT smoke, which Wrinkle looks to abuse. He's unable to find anything, so he repositions and patiently holds this angle towards Tetris, knowing that the T's are yet to actually make an advance on the site. After that great first kill, he gets a clean follow-up on the ramp player and then continues to jump spot for info. He gets shot at from ramp once again, but doesn't lose his composure and immediately flicks towards the enemy walking out palace, netting them around they weren't favored in at all. The fourth player on this proposed lineup is 18-year-old Fiku from AGO. Fiku has been a great breakout player in the Polish scene, and in my lineup, I'd have him be a lurker. Despite only being 18, Fiku has a fair share of experience facing top teams, and is very calm under pressure. I feel like having a well-tenured player like himself on the other side of the map, relaying info to TMB would be greatly beneficial. He's not only got the experience, but boy golly does he also have the aim. Between Longx, Wrinkle, and Fiku, we have 3 heavy hitters that could pretty consistently carry any game. I think an area where Fiku really excels is his positioning and pacing. He's always ready to be peaked and is always ready to trade. He knows how not to be the focus of attention and placing himself in positions that just feel awkward to his opponent. In this round, he got 2 great trades and nearly won the clutch through jiggle peeking. Last but not least, we have 18-year-old Savannah from Isuba, rounding out the roster as the support. Now, I'm not usually a big fan of making young players take support roles, but in an academy lineup, someone's got to do it. The Czech-Slovak scene has really grown over the last year, and while Savannah may not have the same level of mechanical skills as someone like Matisse from Enterprise, I chose him because of his attitude and patient playstyle. Between the star trio I mentioned before and TMB, who will be creating a lot of space, I felt like this team needed a slightly more patient player to balance out the personalities. Savannah definitely has the least experience on the roster, but he's currently the star of his team, and I believe he'd make for a good trade fragger. He already has great knowledge of grenades and plays to win, not for kills. In this round, Isuba forced and Savannah finds himself ticket booth with a scout, much like Wrinkle earlier. I wanted to draw a comparison between their playstyles, as Savannah is much more patient in his approach. He'd prefer to go for tags and fall back, playing with the positional advantage. Eventually gets his first kill, then picks up a Galil. He's then able to get a clean 2k, and he has enough confidence in his teammate to eventually stick the defuse. So there you have it, my make-believe academy team. I think this roster has a good mix of firepower, experience, and personalities. From the get-go, I think this team could be at the top in the Academy League, and it could definitely do some damage in the European scene at large as well. Thank you for watching the video, be sure to like and subscribe, and have an amazing day.